What weird thing did somebody tell you that they shouldn't have felt so comfortable telling you? Years ago, I lived in Florida. My girlfriend, now wife, and I went to a Chili's one night to get some drinks with her coworkers. After they left, we went back inside to the bar for one more drink because it was still early and we lived nearby. This older guy walks in and sits down a few stools away from us and immediately starts giving us some light-hearted shit about football, then notices my girlfriend typing something on her phone. Within 60 seconds of meeting us, he decided to drop this, "Oh, you like looking things up on them phones, huh? Google my name." We Google his name and the first result is a news article that names him as the victim of an attempted murder-suicide by his wife. She shot him in the head, then shot herself in the head right after. She died, he didn't. Police came after a call of shots fired, they found him unconscious but alive, med-flighted him to a hospital and he woke up later that day. And that was his icebreaker story. Edit, grammar. Floridians have no concept of ice, so they don't know how hard to go in order to break it. No ice? What's Florida man's drug of choice? A strange coworker, whom I wasn't ever close with, decided to tell me at work, across the entire office, that she and her husband were having marital problems due to lack of sex. He wanted more sex. But since she wasn't trying to get pregnant, she didn't see the point and said he needed to get over it. This happened loudly, out of nowhere and with no prompting. What made it more uncomfortable was that she was our person. What made it more uncomfortable was that she was our person. There's a nice little foothold right this way, said the bear trap. I knew it wasn't just me they speak to. Chatting with another mom at the park. Now we can chat about some pretty weird things. Like, discussing your kids' pooping habits would be a normal conversation. Even to some extent discussing how things are going in the bedroom isn't that weird. But I've had some weird things other moms have confided to me. The one that stands out was a mom who confessed she was a closeted lesbian, in a loveless marriage who has a huge crush on her teenage son's girlfriend. It got even weirder too. Managed a restaurant and a man was there to service the building, HVAC or something. He seems anxious and starts rattling on about his girlfriend and then her brother and how said brother ducked a cow. Immediately apologizes, "I don't know why I said that, I probably shouldn't have told you that, sorry." Edit, gentleman was odd overall, I don't think it was weighing on him that he had to share but perhaps. His general demeanor was awkward and twitchy. Accidental Hagrid. A friend of mine is absolutely like Hagrid. He just tells you this BS and stuff he should not and is later rather annoyed that he told Theme Edit, "G should be BS, typo." Business partner of my then boss, that had just introduced himself to me, "Nice team you've got here. We should all go on a trip to Thailand together. You can duck prostitutes without protection over there. They all have documents from their doctors showing that they're clean." Dude was also married, with 2 young daughters. What the actual fuck? My coworker went into great detail, including a hand-drawn diagram, about how constipated she was after one of her C-sections. She said she was so uncomfortable that she asked her husband to try to dig some of the poo out of her butt with his finger. So she put a towel down on the bed, laid on her side, and he got to work. After some successful digging she rolled over and noticed a butter knife on the bedside table and asked what it was doing there, to which he responded, "Well, it was too hard for my fingers." "We are nurses," she told this story at the desk to a group of at least 5 people. "We were all mortified." Unexpected poop knife. Why the duck is this a sub? So there was this weird story on Reddit. I think about that post often. Me, sits down for my lunch break at work. Random coworker comes and sits down and says to me, "So I've been watching cartoon monster porn." Sounds like they had you pegged from the moment you walked in. Pegged wrong genre. I met a professional acquaintance at a friend's show one night. We knew each other vaguely, having met a couple of times, so we started having small talk. The guy obviously had gotten one too many beers, and felt it was a great time to tell me all about his dumb moves from his early adulthood, how his fiancée cheated on him with his best friend and how he became an alcoholic. Alright. Definitely awkward, but manageable so far. It took a turn for the worse when he suddenly felt comfortable enough to describe, in details, how he and his friends had raped a teenage boy that was blackout drunk. The acquaintance and his friends were drunk and thought it would be fun to do that while the boy was literally unconscious and unresponsive. I noped the duck out of the conversation right after that and hope I'll never run into him again. When I was younger, I hung out with a group of friends who drank a lot but were harmless. I guess one guy thought because we partied he could tell us about the time a girl fell asleep while having she's with him. He took offense, so he finished on her face, peed in her shoes, and stole all the alcohol from her house. We told him that's not what we were about, and it was really awkward. I used to have this, kinda racist, hairdresser who'd tell me about life, her son, etc. Anyway, she tells me one day about how her son went to this party, and there was a gay guy there. Now everyone was making a big deal about this, and all the dudes were teasing each other about it, which is just honestly horrifying to me, that it's like a focal point of the party that there's a dude who is gay just minding his own business. But anyway, her son passes out drunk. All his friends there decide that what they're going to do is fill a condom with conditioner and put it in his asshole, so when he woke up he'd think the gay guy raped him. Freaked him the duck out, and my hairdresser was like, yeah, he's still pretty messed up by it. I'm like, lady, your son was sexually assaulted by his friends. And she was just brushing it off, like they didn't have sex with him, they weren't attracted to him, and I'm like, no. They spread his cheeks and forced an object into his rectum, he was sexually assaulted. And she looked really fucking surprised and started piecing together that this might be why her son is not okay. Like, oh, maybe that's not just a prank, huh? Those are some messed up friends. I don't know if this qualifies, but some drunk girl said I would be a nice weekday-only boyfriend very casually, and that felt like a very backhanded compliment to drop on me so suddenly. My 89-year-old grandfather told me his and his wife's favorite sexual position. Number 1 on the list of things I never ever needed to know. Don't leave us hanging. What was it? Doing her from behind against a wall because she's disabled, so works better for them both. Edit, missing letter. Hey now, this is info you might need in the future. Don't just spurn the wisdom of the ancients. Shit, yay, that's why I open the comments, not like they teach a senior citizen sex class. I see my mechanic like 5 times a year, and he always tells me how many Asian girls he met online and had sex with since we last met. It's like an unprompted tradition he must get past before we can talk about what's wrong with the car. Do you have a foreign car? Waiting to get my windshield replaced a few weeks back, an older gentleman tried to hook me up with his son, then went on to tell me about his wife who had died 8 months ago, and his son's relationship with his ex-girlfriend. She was pretending to be pregnant. This son is also on the autism spectrum, though not as bad as the good doctor, has psoriasis, and works at the deli counter of a grocery store, where he was forced to wear long sleeves because people were complaining that his skin was flaking into their meat. All within about a half hour or so. I have what is called a mother confessor face. Edit, I think this is proper etiquette. Thank you so much for the award. My first ever award, I'm so excited. Thank you, kind stranger. I love you. I was working in the photo lab at Walmart. They have a policy about not printing lewd photos, and they have to be destroyed if they are printed. 20 minutes before closing, a woman comes and asks to print some photos. I direct her to the kiosk, and after a while they start printing in the back. I notice that the first few photos are poorly cropped as they come off the machine. They're full-body portraits with half her face cut off. This isn't uncommon, the software isn't super intuitive, so I check the next few to see if it happened on more. The next few photos are the same framing, just different poses. It looks like she's showing off this nice dress. And then she's reclining on a couch. And then she's on a bed. And then her legs are spread. Now I have to figure how to tell her I can't sell these prints. I'm all ready with the policy binder out and open to the relevant page when she comes up, and I start explaining, I'm sorry ma'am, I can't sell some of these photos to you, they violate our inappropriate print policy, so I had to show. I'm so sorry, I forgot those were in there. It's fine, he's not allowed to have those kinds of photos in prison anyway. I was so relieved that she wasn't going to yell at me that JT didn't register what she said until after she left. And then she's reclining on a couch. And then she's on a bed. And then her legs are spread. Now I'm falling asleep. And she's calling a cab.